This is Tech Tales 6. Tech Tales is where I tell stories of actual billable work that I do for clients in my city, Fresno, California. I'm going to continue with, Wednesday this last week. It was an attorney in an office that I've spoken to before. He called me because his Microsoft Access program was locked up and he had done a fair amount of work. He was worried about the work. Now, this Microsoft Access application was created by somebody else before I started working for this office, which, I probably should have looked it up 15 years ago or more. It was originally, I think, designed in maybe Access 95 or 98, maybe earlier, I'm not sure, but I've moved it forward once and we're currently using Microsoft Access 2000, or we were for a while. Maybe it's 2010 now. No, I think it's 2000, because even when we were using Microsoft Office 2010, I still had to do this weird gyration in order to load the Microsoft Access Runtime 2000 and get it to work. Because in order to run this Microsoft Access database in 2010, we were going to have to do a redesign of it. It would not convert conveniently, or it would not convert into the 2010 Access. So I figured out a workaround to be able to run Microsoft Access 2000 runtime. And I'm pretty sure I'm saying those years right. I might have to correct myself later on, but I think that's it. So now it's even more difficult when a computer has Microsoft 365 installed and I still need Access 2000 runtime to operate. And every time Microsoft 365 does a particular type of update, it will break that functionality. And I've gotten to the point where I have an icon on the desktop of the people who use this that they can double click on, do I think 2 more clicks. It basically takes them into a repair mode for Access 2000. Because what happens is Microsoft 365, you have to install the whole suite of products, which includes Access 2016, or maybe it's at 2019 now. So after that happens, by virtue of an automatic update, we typically have to run this repair of Access 2000. Geez, it could be too. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look it up because I owe you a correct explanation of that. It shouldn't take long. I'm going into the OneNote for this office, onto my software tab, and go to Microsoft Access 2000. Yes, it's Microsoft Access 2000 runtime, and I've got a note here that I modified my procedure as recently as March 1st, 2020. So that is clearly what we're still using. So this was a system that somebody designed way back a long time ago for this attorney to be able to manage all of the cases in the personal injury division of their company in a way that works really well for him. They have other vertical market legal case management software, but it doesn't do it in the way that he really likes and uses. So we've got a copy of that database for their personal injury cases and for their workers' comp cases, for their wage and hour cases, and we recently just added another one. What was it? It was, I think, family law, wage and hour. I think it was family law, not certain, but I think we have 4 of them now. So he called me because he'd been working in the personal injury edition of this, and had done a fair amount of work. And then he went to, I think he said he went to click to another case or something, and it just went to a blank white screen within Microsoft Access. He could still see that Access window. So I connected remotely to his computer and clicked around a little bit to see if I could revive it or wake it up again, and I figured the data was probably okay. So I wound up ending task, and it was very stubborn. The task did not want to end. It was going away reluctantly. So when I got that ended, I then relaunched the personal injury cases, and it opened up just fine. I was thinking I might have to do the repair operation, but I didn't. And we clicked into the database, and he had a sigh of relief. And then I asked him to go check on the most recent change that you made in this database, and he did that. And he said, my last change is there. And he had a sigh of relief and a tone of gratitude in his voice that is just the thing that a computer technician lives for. That he had saved his database and the work that he had done that day, at least in his mind. I don't think it was truly at risk, but it's a very enjoyable, satisfying feeling. So anyway, that was a 12-minute phone call. The amount of relief that he experienced, and he's going to get a 12-minute charge on my invoice. This is the type of time charge when my clients see this on their invoices, and then they see a 4 or 5 hour charge to fix a problem that didn't sound that severe, they're okay with. They don't get upset with that, because they know sometimes a disastrous problem gets fixed easily, and sometimes a problem that doesn't seem like it should be that difficult takes more time, and I charge them whatever time it takes to resolve the problem at hand. But by putting these small time charges on their invoice with enough text that it reminds them of what happened, then that really gives them a comfort. So let me actually tell you how I wrote this. I didn't write it very extreme, really. I just said, phone and remote support for PI cases lockup problem solved by ending task on Access. Not particularly clever in my mind or in another technician's mind, but in my client's mind, I saved the day for him, or more than the day maybe, because of the fear that maybe it damaged the whole database. Of course, we have backups. We have local backups. We have offsite backups. We have cloud backups. So we're in good shape for recovering if we need to. Then let's see, this next one. Oh, this is CPA's office that I've talked to you about before. I received an email from this client. No text in the email. He was forwarding an email that he received, and it had a link in it. And I'm assuming that he was suspicious that this link was not legitimate. And very often, usually, more often than not, it's not legitimate. And I tell him, good catch, that was not legitimate. I'm glad you did not click on it. In this case, it was legitimate. And it was a client of this CPA who had used a Amazon cloud drive to transfer documents to the CPA, receipts and such for expenses. And the CPA had never seen a link come to them before, I assume. They had never seen a link come before from this client, and didn't have a verbal advice from the client that, hey, I'm going to send you an Amazon link. And it's a very strange, obscure looking link that didn't make a whole lot of sense. But I was able to tell that it was an Amazon cloud drive, because that was contained within the link, but my client didn't understand what that is. So I clicked on it and it went right into those documents. So I sent an email back to my client saying, I assume you were inquiring about that link and wanting to know if it was legitimate. Yes, it is legitimate. It is documents from such and such person who apparently is a client of yours, and it looks like it's receipts for them. Later, he sent an email back thanking me for the response. That's it for this Tech Tales. I'll catch you next time. Goodbye.